and today it is our year in review of 2025.
Maybe I'm getting a little bit sick of the witch thing.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight?
I'm like, are you kidding? No, but are you kidding? When on your knees on the floor.
Welcome to The Film Angle, a podcast where we dive deep into the latest releases and unearth the classics to better our cinephilic curiosity. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chris.
And today it is our year in review of 2025.
Yeah. A lot of movies. Another year wrapped up. Ups and downs, highs and lows. Big movies, small movies. Skinny movies, fat movies.
Medium movies?
Yeah. Is that what medium is to you?
Yes, that's a medium.
Like I would have said, like that's little, that's medium, big. I mean,
big.
Well, you know, you're the one in charge, so I don't want to step on your feet here.
Hey, there's no hierarchy in The Film Angle. You know this by now.
Yeah, I'm in charge.
Anyway, how many of these year reviews have we done already? Like, is this like our third or fourth one now?
I feel like you know.
I know I don't. Pop trivia.
I feel like this is testing me.
I think
it's been the second one we've done like this.
Oh, so a second home show.
Second home show. But was that I forget. Was the home show a year in review?
No, that's halfway through this year, Chris.
Oh goodness,
it's been a long year.
We've got a hard battle in front of us today.
No, we did our ballerina episode then.
Oh yeah, of all the episodes to debut on live camera, we chose Ballerina.
Yeah, we did.
Is that could be on the list today?
Could be on the list. Could be on the list. We're here. We've got the dogs, as you've seen. We've got our producers, producer Lauren, producer Emma. Say hello.
Hey. Hi.
That's nice, wasn't it?
That was lovely. Yeah. It's lovely. It's like playing to an audience today.
Yeah, I mean there are another 10 people here, like. You know, not family, all people that just came off the street because they're like, oh, what are you guys doing? We're big fans. So.
Absolutely. Come in for Christmas.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Don't eat too much.
Don't eat too much. Yeah, turkey's there.
Yep.
Looking forward to that, actually.
Have a good time. Yeah. Well, shall we get on?
Yeah. I'm going to say this. This is a year that hasn't been, like, consistent. I know summer's usually a dip with movies anyway, but it feels like we had, like, big peaks early year, in terms of like big blockbusters and things that got people going to the cinema.
Yeah.
And then we got a little bit more tepid. And now we're kind of like holiday season. We're kind of getting there again. So it's been a year of definitely little highlights. There's definitely been something each season to like look forward to. And it's kind of kept us going. So I don't know if your list is going to reflect that later on, but yeah, mine certainly does. Like mine's not like gripped to a certain part of the year. It's like I got flavors of the entire 2025 here.
I feel like the whole year has been like quite bumpy cinematically, like peaks and troughs. Like I feel like it was a really slow start to the year.
Yeah,
it was struggling to even see if there was going to be a good film coming at all at one point. But then when the highs have come, they've been pretty high. Your Sinners, your One Battle After Another, like these big cinematic events that people have kind of like gone for, and I think that's great. But yeah, I would say like it's uneven. And when I've been looking at like other people's top 10s lists for the year, I feel like there is a consensus more so this year than any year, where it's kind of like there's like at least like 5 of the same films on everybody's list. Like there's like a consensus there.
Like and you always want to be like not vanilla and boring, and you don't want your list to be the reflective of everybody else's. But you got to be kind of true to yourself, and it's actually kind of been nice. And this is sort of a spoiler as to what my list is going to be like. But I haven't gone for the most retro out there movie on the list ever. I've gone for the movies that I was looking forward to. There's some of these that met my expectations. Some bigger blockbusters, 1 or 2. I'll get into that kind of disappointed as well.
Yeah.
So and there's a couple big surprises. Like you say, Sinners was like a movie that I felt we were all kind of like, okay, we'll wait and see. And then just came out of nowhere, and it's really exciting to kind of get wrapped up in that and something kind of exceed your expectations and become like a genre staple now. So so we got little nuggets there.
It's been a mostly good year, I would say.
Yeah,
it's a good year. And I was also thinking as well, when I was looking back at my list, I think 9 out of 10 on the list I've seen in the cinema.
Mhm.
and I that might be a high because I think like there's usually a bit of a mix sometimes in terms of things that we're catching up with later. But yeah, I feel lucky enough to have seen at least 9 of my top 10 on the big screen this year.
And is that because you went to see them on the big screen, or is it because, as opposed to watching at home, or is it just because you knew that they were going to be good and there's a little bit thinner on the release schedule and you're like, right, I'm seeing these no matter what, and you're like, oh, thank goodness they actually met my...
A mix of both. A mix of both, I would say. Yeah, a mix
Mhm.
of both. Some of them I was definitely excited for. Some of them I caught at the festival, London Film Festival. Yeah, I'm kind of going off festival release for some of these as well. We don't tend to stick to UK release when we do these top 10 films, or else we'd be talking about all the films that were in discussion at the end of last year because they had like a wide release in the US. So like your Nickel Boys, your Nora, all that kind of stuff. Well, actually, not a Nora, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, that actually segues into what my list is going to become, because I'm just went for UK releases this year because I have been a little bit lighter at catching up with things. I think you're a little bit more, you've covered more bases than me.
Yeah.
But if it came out, I double checked all the films I put on my list just to make sure if they were a January release and they were in the UK, I did go for it.
Okay. We have a mix this year.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd just be picking movies I wouldn't feel so passionately about. And I'll never sit here today and talk about the movies I really liked. And I'm sure you're the same. Yeah,
absolutely. That's kind of the thing with these lists. Take them with a pinch of salt. These are our top 10 right now. Right now, they're probably going to change overnight. They might change overnight.
Yeah,
we might watch a film tonight that came out this year that might go on Chris's top 10. Really?
Yeah, there's I'm not gonna. There's a certain movie Alex saw at the BFI that he really wants to show me tonight. And he's hoping it'll be like my favorite film of all time. So
I don't want to put that pressure on. But yeah, like lists are silly, but they're a lot of fun at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 10 films we loved from this year. Shall we get into it?
Okay, so I'm going to start off this conversation, Alex. I'm going to start with my number 10. And
it's a good place to start.
Yeah, because it would be kind of anticlimactic if you went the opposite way. You make a really good point, actually. I'm just going to have to change the order quickly. So, like I said, Sinners, movies like that, Sinners might pop up on the list. I mean, that's the only spoiler I'm going to give so far. But it has been a really good year for horror genre in general. And I'm going to have a few representatives of that genre actually this year. And starting off with my number 10, a film that I had no expectations for. And I thought was going to be like whatever, a sequel to a movie I quite liked a bit. And that is Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
This was a real surprise. I said this before, I love movies set in the snow, horror movies set in the snow. It's not done enough. Seems a bit basic of me, but that aesthetic goes a long way, actually. And this was kind of a throwback to like Freddy Krueger films from like the 80s or early 90s. And when sequels kind of like, they brought a new director along and they had a weird, obscure idea that they wanted to bring to it. Except the same director came back and it was Scott Derrickson, who I always feel like has a really good control of his franchises and always won't do a film until he feels like, where I can control this, I can do something at least interesting with it.
Yeah.
And I think he does a lot of things interesting with that. I think this is a reconciliation film. So if you guys haven't seen the first Black Phone movie, there's a lot of trauma in that film. A lot of horrible things happen. The subject matter is pretty upsetting alone. And our characters are left winning at the end of that film, but there's still loose ends. And this film does a really good job at reconciling those loose ends and coming to an ending that feels satisfying, emotionally cathartic, but he's also doing really interesting things cinematically too. This is like a log cabin, closely knit, tight, concentrated film. And it's a really great hour and a half, 2 hours to lose yourself in. And I had a lot of fun with it. And Ethan Hawke is sort of like in it more, but in it less, but if that makes sense. But he's going full gonzo in this mode, and he's having a lot of fun. And
he's got like more of a presence in this one, doesn't he? He's like, but it's more of a mystical presence. And obviously there was some kind of like magic elements to the first one, but this one takes it to like another level of like dreaminess, and it plays with the form and how it's filmed and how like different scenarios are set on different kind of camera aesthetics and lenses.
With
and,
the dream sequences you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Probably in my top 20 of the year.
Okay, I'll deal with that. So you only saw 20 movies this year, right? No, I really enjoyed it. I think Lauren behind the camera, I think we both enjoyed it. It was like one of those Sunday afternoons where we just slipped into the cinema and like saw something. It's during the summer or whatever like that, and we're watching a snowy movie that's got like the Thing sort of aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with it. I like these types of movies. So, and I actually like it more than the first Black Phone, which probably a lot of people won't agree with, but I liked it. So yeah, that's number 10.
Yeah, I wonder if I would like it more than the first. Maybe on like a couple more rewatches. I think right now I still like the Black Phone 1, which had "the" in the title, and the new one
It's just Black Phone 2.
Black Phone 2.
And I love that there was
Hates me a little bit.
it irritates you, but aren't you glad it didn't have a cool-on subtitle like the Black Phone 2? Yeah, like I don't know,
Dreamy Weemy, Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. The Mask is back, baby. Something like that.
The Mask cometh.
Black Phone 3, is that going to be like Black Phone 3D?
Oh.
Yeah. That would be lending that's like Freddy Krueger, like Jason Voorhees, like inspirations on its sleeve.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy.
Nice. Wow. Shall I get into my number 10?
No. I'm going to just... go, please. Tell me your number 10.
My number 10. So my number 10 is actually the last film I saw. And we all saw it. Producer Emma, producer Lauren. We all saw this last night. Marty Supreme from Josh Safdie.
Yeah, that's very fresh in the memory bank.
Yes. So the Safdie brothers have now split and gone their separate ways, and they're now doing separate films. But it seems that Josh Safdie has taken that kind of style and aesthetic that they developed with Good Time and one of my favorite films of the last few years, Uncut Gems, and then brought it into what is part a sports film and part a character study, and but is and a little bit like kind of like Scorsese, like After Hours as well. Like it's kind of like this complete. I don't want to see like comedy of errors, because not all of it is like particularly like funny, even though it's a funny film, but it's like some pretty horrific stuff goes on throughout. But it's kind of like chaos that is very like tightly controlled and choreographed, with a great leading performance from Timothée Chalamet. And it just kind of works. It works for me. I had a good time. I don't think I was like blown away by the film in the way of like it's going straight to number 1. But then I think we're less than 24 hours since I've seen it. So it could bump up in the future potentially, or even bump down. Who knows? But right now I'm thinking that was a great film. Is exactly the kind of style and aesthetic that I've liked from their previous films brought into this kind of world, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think Timothée Chalamet is a lot of fun in it. He plays this absolute kind of dirtbag who you like kind of like want to see him get away with it a little bit, because he's the protagonist. But also, like, if he gets his comeuppance, then you kind of that's good as well. So it's this kind of like weird thing, but at the same time, there's so many different things going on in the background, and it's such a very tightly edited film, and really kind of brings up the tension. It's quite nice to feel something in the cinema rather than just kind of relaxing all the time. I appreciate not everybody wants that from the cinema, but like to feel a little bit on edge, to be a little bit stressed out, to be on the edge of your seat during this kind of like ride of a film. I had a good time. So Marty Supreme, just in the nick of time, comes into my top 10.
Okay, well, just in the nick of time always, we'll just segue in. It is my number 9.
Perfect.
For all the reasons you said, I really like the unpredictability of a Safdie, it might be a more Josh Safdie thing. I don't know who authors that Uncut Gems style of filmmaking.
It wasn't there for the smashing machine. Like there were elements of it, but it wasn't the stress wasn't there. Yeah. But then like Benny Safdie did do a lot of The Curse, the TV show, which I've been begging you to watch, and you still need to watch. But there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of it there. There's a like that off kilter, little bit like frustrated nature there. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Jump in.
No, not at all. I think you're totally right. Even though I haven't seen The Curse, I know, like, I understand that Benny does have like a different sort of pacing or a different tone. But it's kind of like when the Coens kind of are like separated now, and you're starting to see who's who in our relationship, and it's actually very fascinating. Ruins the mystique, but it is fascinating. Yeah, like all the reasons you said, I think Timothy Chalamet is so good in this film.
Yeah.
I think he is putting out all the stops, but he gets away with not feeling like he's trying too hard. It's not like it's a strained character, but not a strained performance.
Yeah.
And the movie is like a wild ride where you just don't know where you're going to end up in half an hour's time. And you're right, it's got that kinetic energy of a Scorsese film, like the last third of Goodfellas, when Henry is like his whole empire is falling apart, and you're just seeing somebody who's addicted to wanting to become the best at what he does.
Yeah.
But he is an asshole. He's a piece of work, but there's like a little nugget, and I think Timothy Chalamet plays the performance with like there's something interesting about him. There's something that's a little bit soulful about him that's like buried deep in there, and it's all because of his interactions mainly with Rachel.
Odessa Zion. Yeah.
Yeah, who is like a childhood like friend slash lover, love interest. And the movie's got this real like sort of tongue-in-cheek humor to it as well, that comes all the way from the title sequence, where we get we get a lot of 80s music mixed in with like 50s diegetic, like old school songs. And like what I really enjoyed about the movie was its sets, its costumes that come and go in 1 or 2 minute scenes. Like you'll get big bowling alley sequences or like outdoor sequences where beautiful neon lights and sets and window dressing that is just there for like a second. And I love a movie that makes you feel like, right, I actually believe in this world. I feel transported regardless of its breakneck speed, which is so fast, but you're still soaking it up. Like you feel like you're watching an old Hollywood movie at the same time. And then it turns into a sports movie, like you said. Yeah. And those sports scenes, like those table tennis scenes are really well shot. And you're like, is Timothy Chalamet actually doing this? Because I'm like watching, like I can't see like the obvious stunt actor's face or anything going on. So well orchestrated. It reminded me a lot of Challengers in terms of how it really just managed
those
to make
scenes, like the way they're like shot.
Yeah, how it made
creatively.
Yeah, like we're not just watching like a biopic thing here. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm still like wrestling with it. It's the recency thing, and I don't want to be like. And there was a lot of hype going into this movie too, and I don't want to like feel like I want to jump on the bandwagon. I want to think about it, maybe watch it again as well.
Yeah. We haven't turned up today with our Marty Supreme jackets on or anything like
that. No,
we spent 250 quid on our jackets.
No. Maybe in another month I'll watch it again. I'll be like,
damn,
no, you don't get it. Yeah,
I wish I queued up in London overnight.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, so I'm glad it made both our lists anyway, because I feel like we would have copped out to leave it out as well, because I do think it's a type of film that we enjoy.
Yeah, so that's why we wanted to get it in before the end of the year, didn't we? So there we go. Well, it's your number 9. I get to go straight into my number 9. So my number 9 of the year is Weapons, which I think had the most interesting kind of premise, maybe kind of like one of the most intriguing trailers of the year for a horror film. And then what we got was like a lot more interesting than kind of like face value as well. You got this kind of disconnected story crisscrossing between characters. The premise that was set up in the trailer is the premise set up from the very start of the film, which I was quite surprised at. I thought we were going to like lead to that, but no, it's jumping you straight into this kind of mysterious incident, a whole classroom of kids gone missing bar one. And then, kind of taking you through all the different characters and how they have kind of reacted to this and how they go forward from this. And at one point you think, are we ever even going to like understand this mystery? And then there's a moment where you're like, I'm enjoying being with all these different characters anyway. They're like, do I need to know about this mystery? But then by the end of the film, it's probably like one of the most cinematically satisfying horror films we've had in a long time. Like I fully expected going into this to have a kind of like loose A24 ending where it's kind of like an ambiguous thing of like, who knows what happened to those kids? But like you get everything laid out in front of you. It's a full meal. I don't think it's like the scariest horror film of the year, but I would say it was probably like one of the most satisfying ones. So I really liked Weapons. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was one of those kind of great experiences watching it in the cinema and kind of going along with that story and just being completely hooked on the premise. So
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. It didn't make my top 10. It was close. It was just outside, and I really enjoyed this film for all the reasons you said, and like everybody, I feel like a lot of people love this film too. It was a big hit. The premise alone, like I think we live in a true crime era, like consuming era, where we all enjoy these sort of stories, or like well, these what ifs of something so devastating happened, and that's a great premise of like what happens if a whole classroom of kids went missing and nobody knows why. I mean, like, don't you want to just like absorb that mystery?
Yeah.
And what I thought, I really enjoyed this film, but I never felt in love, or I never felt passionate about weapons. And probably because I was so in the pocket from the beginning that I did find it scary. I found it was, all the sort of, is it Julie Garner? When she's sort of investigating herself. She's the teacher of the classroom that all these kids went missing from. And she's kind of getting blamed for herself. A lot of people suspect her. Josh Brolin, one of the fathers, think that she did it. So she's been wrestling with these issues, but she's also trying to privately investigate the whole issue herself. Yeah. And there's this one scene where she goes to the one kid who didn't get stolen. He goes to his house, his home, just to see what's going on. And it's in the middle of the night, and the mum comes out of the house. And this really unnerving scene where she's just got a knife and there's like no soundtrack, and she just walks to the car while Julie Garner is sleeping. And snips off a bit of her hair, and it's like, what is going on right now? I'm leaning in. This is really upsetting. But I feel like, although it was cathartic, the tonal shift that comes in the third act, I was thinking I want this movie to be as like dark and make me feel as icky as possible, especially when you're dealing with a subject matter like this. And maybe that's a little bit masochistic of me, a little bit of a dark side of me coming out there. But I thought, I'm a little bit upset that I'm now just enjoying it, and I'm more coming out of this feeling like, oh, it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
The tone shifts were kind of just stopping me from being like, oh, head over heels with the film. Though there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's a taste thing.
Yeah.
And Weapons is a film that's about taste, and people who want to see the story kind of come up, with a happy ending. And I don't. Is that really bad of me?
That's a little bit bad.
Yeah. Well, I guess we've had a lot of witch movies over the last few years. And maybe I'm getting a little bit sick of the witch thing.
Okay.
That's a little bit of it too.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to let me know what are we on?
Yeah, this is number 8 for me. Right, this is another horror film. We're really sticking with that genre at the moment, and it is Bring Her Back from the Philippou twins brothers. They are twins, right?
I don't know. I know they're brothers.
Sorry if you're not twins.
If you're not twins.
Yeah. So this is the story of two recently orphaned kids after the passing of their father, who fell and hit his head on the bathroom floor after passing out in the shower. Mm-hmm. They get taken into the foster care system and are adopted by Sally Hawkins' Laura, who is a little bit eccentric, unusual. But we're supposed to feel comforted by her because she used to work 20 years in the foster care system. But things are very off very suddenly when she's obsessed with the younger sister, who is blind, which has a mirroring to her own daughter, who died many years ago, who was also blind. And there's a lot of alienation of the older brother, Andy, and a little bit of a psychological warfare going on, whilst also she goes to bed every night watching ritual videos of people being demonically transported onto other bodies. I wonder where this is going. But Sally Hawkins, she's the movie. She's like one of my favorite British actors.
I had to double check she wasn't Australian. I was like, I've been wrong this whole time.
Yeah, she is so fun, and like everything she does in the movie is insane and manipulative and upsetting towards Andy, the older brother. But then she'll like pull in a scene where she's like being quite charismatic. Like she'll go have a night where she's drinking with the kids, or and being maternal and warm in a contemporary way that's atypical of somebody her age, where the kids can kind of really latch onto, and it gives them a false sense of anchoring and security. And then, the gnarliness that their earlier film Talk to Me has, all the gross, biting of a kitchen knife, or a lot of splinters and nails being pulled and blood everywhere. Yeah, there's plenty of that in the third act, and it's just like a lot of fun. And it's Sally Hawkins' movie. It's just like it's just her going AWOL, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really.
I don't want to say too much because this might appear.
Oh, really?
It might appear later.
I thought this would have been your weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, obviously everybody now knows it's like further on in the list, but yeah, out of like kind of the horror films this year, I had such a good time with this one. So,
oh, cool, man.
I don't think it's my next. I'll just double check. But it's coming up, so I will give you a few more of my thoughts on that one when we get there. So, I mean, if you're happy, I'll jump into my number 8.
Go for it.
My number 8 is a part Hungarian, part Canadian film called Blue Heron, which you and I discussed in quite good length on our review of the London Film Festival, because you were able to get a screener of that one as well. And it's a film that I was like completely fascinated by. I mainly went in because it was set on Vancouver Island, which is where my brother used to live. So I just kind of went in, wanted to see some of that scenery again. But to be fair, in terms of like, you get a few like beaches on that kind of North American coast. But what you really get is this kind of like transnational family story, an immigration story, a mental health story, as the parents are kind of like really struggling with their eldest son and how he is coping just kind of socially within the family unit. And they're kind of like struggle with this. Come on up, buddy. Come on. He's so good. That's Cody, by the way, for any audio listeners. Cody has just jumped up onto the sofa. But it's part that, and then it turns into another film that is very kind of analytical of this whole struggle. It almost like jumps into the future, analyzes the past, and it almost becomes, it isn't a documentary at all, but in the way it like analyzes the kind of struggles going on, it feels journalistic in a way, but really plays with the form and memory and life, and just kind of like, I guess, regrets and yearning and all those kind of things. It almost feels, I think I said on when we did the podcast, that like I could see this, if this was like a real life scenario, which by all means it could be. It feels like a very intimate story, but like you could almost see this playing out on like a podcast mini series. But like it completely works here, and I'd never really seen anything like it before. So when the credits rolled, I was just like, wow, I don't know what I've seen, but I think it gets a wide release next year. But yeah, I mean, I saw it this year. It's had a festival run this year, and I had to include it on the list because I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Well, it is on my list.
Is it next?
It's not next. It's not next on the list. It's nice when that happens and the chips fall away. No, really well said. And I think a podcast would work really well, but I think it is a very cinematic film. And it kind of, I think we mentioned on the show too, it has like a lot of similarities to something that like Charlotte Wells' After Sun, where it's all about childhood perspective. And that first half of the film, until you know it's a journalistic film, and where it kind of turns into towards the latter half, it is all very like fragmented memories. And it's and it does that really good thing that, whenever you reflect in your own childhood and it's not full scenes to me. I don't know about you, but whenever I reflect on my own childhood, it is fragmented. It is like moments.
Yeah.
It is moments. And like Nickel Boys reminded me of that too last year.
Yeah.
Where it's just certain moments. It's like a certain angle, the way you looked at something, or someone looked at you, or something that you observed. Because kids, I think the whole thing about the film that's very observant is that kids are very receptive without knowing that they're being receptive. They'll see something, not understand it, but they'll store it. And not until they're like somewhere in their adulthood, they'll actually uncover the meaning of what that moment meant. And that's the keen eye that this filmmaker I think has, and it's a really beautiful film. It is, it is on my list, so I'll mention it again very briefly later. But I loved it too.
We'll get there. Yeah, great film.
Okay, sticking with surprise films, and this, I think you saw this last year.
Oh,
but this had a UK release this year, so I'm counting it, and I saw it this year too. And it was sort of the Scottish Portuguese film on Falling.
Oh, yes, of course. I think it made my top 10 last year.
Oh, well, there you go. But, this is, you had special access that I don't have.
You know me.
Yeah, I'm a normie, and I still haven't got other people to watch. I feel like no one's heard of this film.
No, it had a wide release this year.
Okay, but I want more people to kind of have attention to it as well, because I think it's it's obviously very timely. It's the story about Aurora, who is a Portuguese worker who lives in Scotland, I think in Aberdeen. He works in a warehouse that is not named, but we all pretty much know it's like it's like
Amazon.
It's Amazon basically, and there have been like a few incidents of workplace suicide that have been happening in work, and we get to see them. That's happened in Amazon, where they've actually like installed nets onto the outside of the buildings to stop people from doing that.
We want to prevent you from doing it, but not physically, but mentally we don't care to carry on like normal.
Exactly, and the film is not a melodrama. It's very much not a POV, but it's very tightly following Aurora on her day-to-day work schedule and her home schedule. So she works as a picker in the warehouse, where she goes around with the trolley, trying her best to kind of stick to the orders, yet somebody will come in who is maybe not as good of a worker, will try talking to her about the weekend. But like she's itching because she's on a quota, and she's looking at her watch every 2 seconds because the manager's breathing down her neck and going like, "Oh, we really accept you here. We really think you're great, but could you speed up, or else we might have to have a word later on." The corporate crap that people have to deal with all the time.
5 scans a second, get up to the top of the leaderboard, all that kind of stuff.
100%. Meanwhile, at home, her home life is she has a house share with other workers from like other factories or the factory that she works in as well, where she has no privacy. She has no sort of luxury in her life. Her luxury and her only thing kind of keeping her, she's yearning for love. She's yearning for human connection. And the only connection she's getting, which is very timely for everybody, regardless if you work in the same industry that she works in, is her phone. And she's addicted to looking at her phone, looking at reels as the only form of entertainment in her life. And it's very hard. It's like watching a wounded animal for an hour and a half. Somebody who really wants to do better with herself, but is so stuck in a position that is kind of beyond her control, where she is so alone that she struggles to climb out of it. But it's a hopeful film that expands by the ending beyond her and to other people in the factory, and it gives us little moments of humanity with people that she lives with, works with, and it's a really sweet film that's got a really light touch to it, but it's hard. It's not an easy watch.
It's not easy because it kind of like really pinpoints the way those kind of companies and their kind of mass consumerism kind of wants you to not have a life outside of work, and you have to be kind of contained with it. Like, we're not going to pay you enough to have a life, but we also need you to be like working 150% all the time. Okay, your coworker just died, doesn't matter, carry on, and
it's like a thing,
bleak, isn't it? It's really kind of like it's really pointing the finger.
Yeah, and it's like a thing. We'll like, oh, we've installed a snooker or a pool table in the break room, but you only got 15 minutes of break a day. It's like it's all performative box ticking. We're looking after you, but we don't care. We don't care. Yeah. Even when they go for lunch, they're all in like little cafeteria lines that look very similar to like being in a prison. And I don't think this movie is heavy-handed trying to observe a reality that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. I worked in a warehouse for like 6 months, and it's very much like this. I've seen pickers and what they do all day, and they are just like rushing, and they don't want to talk, they don't want to interact because they're scared that they'll get pulled for it. And it's a great film, and I think you can watch it on Prime or BFI somewhere.
BFI player, it's where it's Ken Loach's production company produced it, I believe.
So easy to find. So I would really urge you to watch it because it is a really great film. It is difficult. It's easy to watch, but difficult. And I think anybody will be. It will allow people to maybe think twice about like how they appreciate everything in their life, or how they treat people who are in like service industries, or you know, how you interact with people who might not have it as easy as you, and how we can like help lift people up as well. So it's a really sweet film.
Definitely. It's a good one. Okay, so my number 7, I'm now coming back. Round 2, Bring Her Back, directed by the Philippou brothers. I think you've already said quite a lot about it, but I will try and add.
I think I just said Sally Hawkins, good. So maybe you can add another layer onto what I think.
I will add another layer because I think there was something about Talk to Me or Talk to Her. What was their first one?
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. There was something about Talk to Me, their first film, that visceral horror, that gore, but working alongside kind of mental health and that kind of thing. And a lot of horror films, a lot of modern day horror films are dealing with mental health, but a lot of them kind of do it in kind of quite interesting and like maybe more ethereal ways, whereas this deals with it in a very kind of visceral way.
Like Babadook is like, you know, or you didn't know it was a mental health film until we got to the
Whereas this is like, and it's mental health, it's also grief, which a lot of horror films do also kind of play with it a lot. But I love the way there's so many kind of different images that like really like keep you up at night. And I think like for me, this was the one film I didn't see in the cinema, and I kind of wish I did. Though I had an amazing time with producer Emma when we put this film on. I think it was the night before our holiday to Greece together, all of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had a few hours, so we were like, oh, let's check on a film, and we both like horror films, so we put Bring Her Back on. And I remember both of us kind of like commenting throughout, like, oh my god, what's going on? And then like covering our eyes because like some of the gore, like the biting on the knife and stuff like that, like what is going on?
Yeah.
But it's so satisfying at the end as well. I think I said Weapons was probably like not the scariest film of the year, but I think Bring Her Back for me was probably one of the most scary films of the year because it really got under my skin. It's quite unnerving, and Talk to Me did a very similar thing that year. And I know you're not as high up on Talk to Me, but I think for me now with the Philippou brothers.
That's why I've said we can both be in it together.
Or twins. They for me, they're like 2 for 2 now. I'm really excited by whatever they do next. I think they've got a brand of horror filmmaking that's right up my street.
Yeah, to think Bring Her Back is their second film is quite incredible because they have really stylish control of the film too. And I feel like this is a really good double bill with like the other film that A24 produced last year, Heretic. I feel like you know, male, female, as a diametrically opposed but like villain-led horror movies that are like really, I think they're like really of a piece together, and I'm enjoying these sort of like films too because I think you sometimes underestimate. I think horror films are sometimes so obsessed with the gory detail that you kind of like think of the characters and actors secondly. Yeah. And I think the Philippou brothers have a really good understanding that you need characters that you can attach to. I think Andy is like, it's a real part of the upsetting thing about that film is that character, and just like this guy doesn't get a break, and he's a sweetheart as well.
Oh, he is, I know. And like he makes a couple of childish mistakes,
but he's 17.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a kid.
Yeah, and he is ultimately punished for it.
Yeah, I thought he was great in this film as well, and it was good to get like a teenager who looked like a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, no, obviously it could have been prosthetics. It could have been him. Like, this isn't a slight on him, but like he was a little bit spotty and greasy haired and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he wasn't like a 25-year-old playing a teenager. Yeah. Like I thought he was fantastic in the film. And you know, considering a lot of the time he's acting alongside Sally Hawkins, an Oscar winner, right? Or just nominee. I can't remember.
No, didn't she win for Shape of Water?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So like to hold his own as somebody who I think we only saw in Craven previously.
Yeah,
maybe young Craven.
Was he in Craven? Oh yeah. The flashbacks to the younger brothers. Yeah.
That's a flashback to one of the podcasts from the start of the year.
Yeah. Oh, I should have put in my top 10.
Craven not getting there. But yeah, so Bring Her Back. That's my my number 7.
Oh, that's good because I was sort of like I was ready to sort of defend this film a little bit because I just had it in my head that because I knew you like Talk to Me more. And I was like, oh, did he just kind of like feel middle of the road with Bring Her Back? And
no, I loved it.
Obviously, you liked it more than me.
Yeah, I did.
And I liked it a lot. My next film, I'm changing it up a little bit here. Again, this was another January 2025 release, so I'm sorry if it's not new and relevant to everybody, but I would like to...
I wish I didn't do the spiel at the start of the show.
Yeah, you might have to rewrite that. But yeah, I went for Hard Truths, the Mike Leigh film.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you've seen this one.
I didn't actually, no. I haven't seen this one.
I think you'd like it a lot. I think it's worth catching up with. Mike Leigh is a British filmmaker. He's quite late into his career now, but he's always been kind of in that Ken Loach territory of somebody who's like came from the the 70s and 80s, but has consistently just made very interesting and great films. And this one's like incredible. It stars Marianne Jean-Baptiste from famously from the Santa Claus movie with Mel Gibson last year that everybody caught.
I will say that I was in a cinema audience with her this year.
Oh really? Were you?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Was that at the BFI?
I was at the BFI.
Nice. Well, yeah, she's incredible.
I hate name dropping it all the time.
Yeah, we're basically friends. She's incredible in this film. And she's playing a protagonist who is very difficult to like. So we are exploring, this London home where we have this family that are dysfunctional as hell. Basically because Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who plays Pansy, who is this woman who's not diagnosed in the film as having any sort of like leanings towards anything. All we know is that she's grieving a life of some sorts. She's very difficult. She doesn't get out of bed until quite late in the day, but when she does, she just likes to yell at everybody. She's very frustrated with her husband and her relationship to him. It's teased that they don't really love each other anymore. Their son, who is in his mid-20s, he's still just playing video games and like just like me, in his bedroom, and she's obsessed. She has obsessive compulsive disorder, so everything in the house has to be tidy. If the husband brings in muck into the front door, she's screaming the house down. To an absurd level, and explores then extends out of the family house into her relationship with her sister. He's very likable, very buoyant, and is kind of the anchor of the whole family. And it all comes to a head whenever they have to have a family dinner together where they haven't seen each other in a while, and the daughters are there, and it's all explosive, and all the family's traumas kind of come to the top of the table. And but this is a very performance-heavy film, and it does such a great job of making you lean in and really want to understand this character, how she got here, why she is like this, because she is unfathomable. It becomes a really like cathartic, very, very heart-wrenching film come the end that is all about family getting together and embracing and overcoming the issues they've had for over a decade. Really, really, really cool stuff. And I love films like set in London that kind of show off London in a really interesting light and a different community that we don't usually see in cinema quite a lot. Really, really fun. I think you'll like it a lot. I want to talk to you about it more because everything in that film is a spoiler because it's all to do with past but I had a really good time with it.
It's been on my list for a while and you've made me want to catch up with it even more now. So
cool.
I'll have to chuck it on. So my number 6 film is a film that you haven't seen as well. And hopefully we'll rectify that tonight. It is Reflection in a Dead Diamond, which I'm going to have to read the directors' names here. So it's another duo, Hélène Catet and Bruno Forzani. And I believe it's a French-Belgian film. I'd seen one of their other films earlier in the year, Let the Corpses Tan. Which I saw with the Cineboys. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic, like really kind of visceral filmmaking. Hello, Cody. I don't know if he can be seen on the camera right now, but he is here saying,
"Hi, Cody."
It's a good film, isn't it? So that was a great film, really visceral filmmaking. And I thought, I saw this one come up on the London Film Festival schedule, and I thought, I really want to see this because that whole film, I was just in awe of the filmmaking. And this was similar again, and it's kind of a pastiche on European like spy films.
Yeah.
But it's like coming at you at like 100 miles an hour with these like incredibly creative shots. Like everything you've seen in this film, you've never seen before. The way the camera moves, the way there are transitions, the way the action is playing out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know 100% what this film is about and what happened.
Still, like, yeah.
Like I went for a drink with guest of the show, Max Martin, afterwards, and we both came to like different conclusions as to what the film was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. Now, potentially that it is ambiguous, and we are supposed to like not fully, like we're supposed to have our own thoughts on it. Potentially, I've just read the film completely wrong as well. You can tell me later tonight.
Okay.
But in terms
pay
of like,
attention then.
a cinematic experience, like, you know, we saw Avatar Fire and Ash recently. Getting to see that, it's a spectacle. It's a 3D spectacle. There was something about this film that felt like a spectacle. Like, it's 2D, it does all the same things, but there's nobody moving a camera like this. You're just in love with what you're seeing on screen at all times. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't make sense all the time, no doubt. And it probably does, maybe more so if you speak the language and all that kind of stuff. But I was just like in awe. Like I'd never seen anything like it. It was just incredible. So yeah, an amazing experience in the cinema and just kind of like a tour de force of filmmaking that I hope you enjoy. I don't want to big it up too much, but it has made my number 6 of the year.
Like I'm looking forward to it. And the thing is about a pastiche usually is like plot is usually secondary to the pastichiness of it all. And I think Love Witch is kind of like the first film that kind of came into my mind as well, where that was a film that's all about the pulpy style, the 60s throwback, where you're just enjoying the silliness and the vibe of it.
Yeah.
And like I'm not there for the plot. The plot's like, it's silly. It's like Black Dynamite was a very similar film where it was a blaxploitation like pastiche, where I'm just like, I'm enjoying how accurate they're getting at the thing here.
Yep.
I love you too.
We've got a third guest joining us right now. Yeah, there we go.
Right. This is 50% dog, this podcast now. And there's a big bit of drill on me now too, with some sort of like peanutty substance on there.
Oh man.
I'll wash that there.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to it. I've seen the poster. The poster is like gonzo too. I've seen some stills. I don't know what the hell it is about. But I'm looking forward to the ride.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. That's my number 6. Should we recap our 10 to 6 quickly?
Yeah, sure.
And then we can take a quick break and then go 5 to 1.
Go for it.
I've lost it. I've lost the list. So my number 10 was Marty Supreme. My number 9 was Weapons. My number 8 was Blue Heron. My number 7, Bring Her Back. And my number 6, Reflection in a Dead Diamond.
Nice. And my number 10 was Black Phone 2. Not the Black Phone 2. Marty Supreme. Bring Her Back, On Falling, and Hard Truths.
Okay, Chris, less dogs now, but are we ready for our 5 to 1?
Yeah, so apparently this is our 5 favorite films of the year. I'm going to go ahead. We had Hard Truths last time, so like a little bit, not highbrow, but thoughtful cinema. I'm going to go not bottom of the barrel, because I think this is amazing. I saw Avatar, Fire and Ash in 3D IMAX, and I had an amazing time. I love this movie a lot. I love the other 2 Avatar films. I'm actually more of a Way of Water guy than I am the first film. I just think it's really underappreciated what Cameron is doing, like the majesty of the filmmaking that's being involved here. I think we're taking it for granted because we are used to seeing well-rendered pretty things quite a lot, but not at this level. And yeah, it's cool to say that the Avatar franchise is like, the storytelling is, derivative and repetitive of films that we would have seen from blockbusters in the 90s or whatever. And character tropes galore. I like it because of that. I think Avatar has found a really nice place for me where I kind of understand it now, and I've kind of come to terms with its quirks and its goofiness is part of its charm. Yeah. And I like it, and I like the characters. I've actually grown to, by this third movie, to kind of get attached to some of them. I mean, it's like, it's silly in our world, but the way these characters talk in their world, I think Cameron has established a cinematic language where it's all coherent, and I'm on board the whole time. And then I'm just looking at like some of the most amazing stuff I've ever seen in my life. We watched this in IMAX in 3D, and you are teleported to another world. I love Quaritch. Quaritch has those cheesy one-liners from the 80s that every action villain had that I'm laughing my ass off every time he opens his mouth. Yeah. Basically.
That's not cool.
yeah. That's it. And Una Chaplin is playing Varine, the new fire lady, who's really cool. Not the main villain that the movie postures her to be.
Yes.
But a lot of fun.
Bit more of a side character than I was expecting.
Yeah, same.
But I think the whole film was not what I was expecting, because they very much marketed Fire and Ash in a way that made me like not excited for it. And then when I went to see it, I was like, no, there is a lot of new stuff in this film.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a rehash of the last two films. There are specific action beats which rehash, and I was like, all right, I'm surprised we're doing this again, but okay. But the overall product, I'm like, yeah, just take me to Pandora every couple of years. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, same. And I think it is showing that people like to say like, we don't really, who cares about Avatar? But we all keep turning up.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to see where he's taking the technology next.
Yes.
And yeah, it's been 3 years since The Way of Water, and maybe we haven't had the technological leap, but like that's not the job. We have to appreciate the first film came out 2009 to 2022, so obviously there was going to be a leap. But this is just like a really great continuation of The Way of Water. It's Way of Water, but plus times two. It's great, and you have some really like jaw-dropping moments, like hairs in the back of my neck. Like the final third act is like Lord of the Rings, Helm's Deep, sort of level battle sequences, and it sounds really fickle and basic, but I was just wrapped up, and like it fills a hole of event cinema that doesn't really kind of exist anymore, and I feel like I just want to like defend a movie like this because I think it just became, like you said, the cool thing to poo-poo on this franchise. And it's like, oh, it's lame. Aren't I cool for recognizing that like they say things in movies I've seen before? It's like, well, that's fine.
Yeah. It harkens back to like an old school blockbuster filmmaking that's like maybe like more reminiscent of the prequels.
It appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to almost have dialogue like that to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like, we're sitting in the cinema for 3 hours and 15 minutes, regardless of the trailers, not even the trailers included. And I'm seeing teenagers, I'm seeing elderly people, I'm seeing adults of all angels. I'm seeing, God bless them. Just cut that out, it's fine. I'm seeing adults of all ages, and like everybody is glued to the screen. Like everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
And I think Cameron's not an idiot. I think he knows exactly what he's playing to. And I think he would know the limitations of his own dialogue sometimes. And I'm just like, embrace it. If you embrace it, you're going to have a really great time in the cinema. And and you have to don't take it for granted, because you're going to have Marvel movies come out next year, and they're not going to look as good as this does.
Yeah.
So Weta Workshop, all the work that they're doing, money well spent, and as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a really great time, and I'm probably going to go see it again.
Yeah. You don't get like a cinematic experience like this come around that often, and it's just one of those things. I think by the time, so we both rewatched Way of Water recently, and I think we both enjoyed it a lot more on that second time round without the kind of 10-year gap, the pressure of like, what is an Avatar film? Like, I'm going to be, I kind of love for it and maybe like dwindled a little bit. And then I kind of went into this one being like, I'm ready to just like watch things I've never seen before for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. So it was amazing. And you're not going to get a cinematic experience quite like it. And I went to go see this with my dad. He absolutely loved it. And, to be fair, I don't know many people who have seen it, but everybody who I do know who has seen it, like, absolutely adores it, and he's onto something. Like, it's about to make another billion. So, like, audiences clearly want to see more Avatar. And as much as it feels like this press run for James Cameron has been a little bit like, this might be the end, I don't know yet. I would be a little bit disappointed if we never got to return to Pandora. I want to see some of those kind of plot threads wrapped up properly, but this is nice. I like it, and I really like the new stuff that they didn't really give away in the trailer, so I don't really want to give away anything here, but like, they really kind of dive deeper into some of the kind of more mystical religious elements of it. And I was like, this would have got more bums in the seats, I think, but
I've always
than it needed it.
Yeah, and I think it ends on like a final shot that kind of says like it hints at more, but if it ended here, that's totemic as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So no, I'm really fascinated for like Lauren hasn't seen it so far.
Yeah.
I'd love to go see it with her too. Producer Lauren. Sorry, not full title, man. I suck. But it's almost really joyous as well. Like you said, taking like the family sort of experience of taking parents or taking loved ones to go see it. He don't go to the cinema a lot, and just like witnessing other people having their minds blown for a while and coming out and having those really fun conversations and seeing what they got out of it, because it's a full meal of a film, and we'll enjoy it for different reasons that other people will enjoy them, and vice versa. So I think he does a really good job at just making it palatable for so many different tastes, and that is an art in itself. And people saying, I've seen reviewers say, "Oh, well, by this time we're not as impressed anymore." I'm like, "Are you kidding? No, but are you kidding? It is incredible. I can't fathom what he does on the screen from frame to frame. I really cannot understand the mechanics behind it. It's great. Yeah. I love these two Avatar films. They're great.
Well, my number 5 is a big kind of blockbuster cinema release as
okay.
well, but it's not Avatar, I'm afraid. I've got a feeling this one might come up again, but it's Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a big Coogler fan. I've loved everything he's done. I've loved all the Black Panthers, Fruitvale Station. I've really enjoyed his work, but there was something about like the trailers for Sinners that just like didn't entice me, and it wasn't like I have to go watch this immediately.
Should we just learn a lesson that trailers mean jack?
Yeah, trailers are
right.
it. Yeah. They don't mean anything. And then like the word started coming out that Sinners was this incredible film, and Coogler had done it again and potentially made his masterpiece. And obviously we went to go see this for the podcast, but also because of that hype as well. And I was absolutely blown away by it. And it's one of those funny films because like we all know going in that it's this vampire genre specific film. But then, like, for the first hour, you're just kind of being with these characters, setting up this community, setting up the music that is a massive part of this film. And then by the halfway point, it turns more into a vampire film. You're like, oh shit, I forgot. I forgot this was coming. But it's also a really good vampire film. It was an absolute surprise for me. And it's a film that, you know, for a big budget film to be kind of working with the kind of technology that it does with like Michael B. Jordan playing two characters, the way it's blending music and film in this really interesting way. I just had a really good time with it. I think there's some like elements in the finale that like are maybe slightly flawed, but like I don't really want to talk about this. We're talking about the top 5 films that we loved. And like I can't get away that this has been the film I think I've recommended to most people this year, because I think it's one of those ones where it's like, no, this is going to surprise you. You're going to have a great time. And also I think ended, I think I can't think of a better scene from a film this year than
I got teary.
Through time scene. Which was amazing. So in any other year it could have been higher again, but for me this year, right now in this exact moment, number 5 for me.
There's like a lot of things that need to happen for a film like this to sort of exist, with the sort of like assets and like budget behind it, talent. It's sort of just like a little early year miracle that kind of came out, and you know everybody had seen by after about a couple of weeks. It was a really popular word of mouth films, and I think music was a really big part of that too. And because you think Ryan Coogler vampire film, okay, this might be a fun little project. It might end up being cute with lots of flaws, and then end up being this juggernaut for Warner Brothers. It's going to come up much later in the list.
Carry on, jump into your 4 then.
My number 4 is a film that you mentioned earlier on, a film that I didn't even know I was going to see this year, and that was Blue Heron. About the family of 6 that moved to Vancouver Island. We have a retrospective on that past moving, and everybody's relationship to the older brother, and parsing what that is. I think we already kind of talked about it too, because I was so enthusiastic to jump in on your conversation.
Yeah, of course.
But like I said before, it's just the keen eye it has for witnessing the story for the youngest child and her growing up and trying to explore and understand her brother. I think we all want to understand our families to the nth degree. We want to, like, you know, if there's something to reconcile, we'll try to reconcile, and this is a film about that. And you know, she as a career woman is a documentarian. And there's a scene where we first meet her as an adult, and she gets a round table together of people who are experts in childcare, and she interviews them all, and she anonymously gives them out the case file of her own brother when she was growing up, but doesn't tell them that it's her own brother. And asking them, what do you guys think of this? Like, objectively, without an opinion, what do you think of this case from this person? And it's just somebody who's really yearning without judgment or having any stake in the game or letting people know that she's involved, to really try to find the objective answer of what was happening with her brother and her family, which is just really fascinating. You really lean into this story, and it's bare bones, it's low budget, but it's so beautiful. Yeah. And it's a debut film too. Yeah. Right. So, like, you know,
a debut feature.
A debut
I think
short films. Yeah. So for a debut feature, you just get really excited, and you're just like, oh, it's great to know that we'll have films hopefully in the future to look forward to from these amazing filmmakers. So yeah.
One to watch.
One to watch.
To watch.
100%. Yeah. Emotional juggernaut. Be in the right frame, kind of similar to what we mentioned earlier on. You know, with films like Unfolding, you gotta make sure you're in the right space for it. But I think it's gonna creep up on you. Yeah,
definitely. I agree. And obviously have spoken already about Blue Heron. So shall I just jump into my number 4?
Please do.
My number 4 film is Sentimental Value, Joachim Trier's new film.
You get to see this, yeah.
Yes. So a lot of people are big fans of his previous film, The Worst Person in the World.
You included.
Yeah, it might have made my number 1.
Yeah, you were in love with it.
Number 1 or number 2. It might have been up there.
It was up there, yeah.
It was up there. I absolutely loved it. So I was really happy to get a chance to see this one. It's just come out in the cinemas as well. So anybody can go watch it right now and support it. But it's a Norwegian film that follows a family that have kind of like somewhat split apart. So Renat Rensiv, who was the main character of The Worst Person in the World, has returned here again. And this time we have Stellan Skarsgård in the cast as well. There's a whole host of people, but it's...
Elle Fanning,
yeah. But it almost feels like a novel of a film. Like these kind of, you know, you're spending a little bit of time with all the different family members. You're spending a little bit of time with the house in a really interesting way, which I won't spoil. But like it's this big tapestry of stories about a family that has somewhat split apart and have a chance to kind of reconnect a little bit through the medium of art. And I was absolutely in love with this film. And even for like the first hour, you're like, how is this all going to connect? Like I appreciate they're all related, but like how are all these storylines going to intertwine and create this beautiful tapestry, which they do. By the end, you're just like blown away. It really takes you on a bit. I wouldn't say like it's quietly emotional. Like it's not this big big emotional Oscar moment
on your knees on the floor.
But like it's subtly emotional throughout, and like really like impacting, and kind of leaves you feeling, you know, thinking about your own life, your own family, about art and how art, and especially as like somebody who like really wants to be creative and tries to be creative, and like how art can like be a source of power for that. Like it's really interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just like The Worst Person in the World will probably remain for maybe a little while your favorite is like magnum opus, but this feels like him as a director who's at the height of his powers, who's so in control of the story, of the camera, of the whole narrative, and is like, it just feels like this is his most mature film, his most in control film. Yeah. Worst Person in the World might be like a little bit more fun and playful, but this just feels like a book. You're getting like a novel's worth of film downloaded into you. So I highly recommend, and if you can go see it in the cinema, I would recommend it as well. It's great, absolutely fantastic.
I mean, it definitely made me interested. I think we saw the trailer yesterday when we went to see Mario Supreme. I definitely got the feeling that this was like a tapestry film, whereas like we have a lot of characters that will come in, come out, but we'll have these two at the center of it. And then, but you've said about the house, which is like really fascinating to me. Is this like a sentient house, or like I said, we're gonna get like Disney's Encanto here or something? No,
No, like when people say like New York is a character, it's a character in the story.
Okay.
It's like the house is a character in the story in that same way, but like you'll know from the very first scene what I mean.
Okay, that does have me interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a really big fan of The Worst Person in the World too. I thought that was a great film, and yeah, I mean, it's really impressive for somebody who did make their quote unquote like masterpiece. To see that they've kind of handled, the sophomore film from that can always be a little bit of high pressure and drop the ball, and we've seen filmmakers do that loads and loads of times. So it has me excited to feel like, right, okay, I've found a nice level to return to the screen with.
I will say that if we're going on this kind of theme, the trailers are shit and don't show you what the film is. That trailer was shit. It was not enticing. It did not give you a flavor of that film, I don't think.
I don't have any opinion of a film by its trailer. It's just like not the way I think. I know sometimes it's out of the creative control. And also a lot of films like that, they're so dialogue based. It's so about moments and like how do you make an enticing trailer out of moments? And it's like it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I think like In Bruges is a very famous film that has a terrible trailer that like they gave it to the marketing team and they turned it into like an action movie trailer. And I'm like, that's not what the movie is at all. It's all about like Irish guys saying funny things to each other.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's again, we're learning lessons today. So my number 3, if you're happy to move on.
Top 3.
Okay, so I mentioned the word juggernaut earlier on. I feel like this really was, a 2/3 in the year juggernaut, and that was one battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson film. We're always excited for a Paul Thomas Anderson film. I feel like, it's gone beyond. It's like the Christopher Nolan thing. It's gone beyond just like film bros and people who really like cinema to like. He's a household name now, I think. Yeah, I feel like if people are sort of semi-aware with film, they're like, oh yeah, I know he makes great movies.
Yeah.
This is another one. This is great. And how to make, Eddington was the film I was thinking about, and it almost made my list actually. Ari Aster's Eddington from earlier this year. That kind of delves into similar topics, but in a much more sort of like observant way and not an opinionated way.
Yeah.
Although I really enjoyed that film, I think PTA finds like a really good balance of like addressing modern issues in a way that feel insightful but old school and cinematic at the same time. And it's just a wild ride. It has a great prologue that's about 30 minutes long, where we're introduced to characters about 18 years earlier. And characters come in and come out and they return, and it sets the scene up perfectly for what is going to be like a really wild Western ride. Some amazing performances. Sean Penn, I'm already saying I want the guy to win the Oscar. I think he is giving such an unexpected performance. I think Sean Penn's kind of got that. He can be interesting, but he's got that point in career where he just like turns up in things. And to see that he's actually really committing to something and giving a performance that is like, he's a Republican Terminator basically.
And it works to his strengths as well because he's like quite an intense person anyway.
Yeah.
So then to like drop him in this film where it's like turn the intensity up to 11.
Yeah.
And it's just like it works.
Yeah. And it makes for some very funny moments too. And Benicio del Toro, it's full of character actors. DiCaprio giving another like really great performance here. I'm
just gonna have a few small beers myself.
Yeah. I mean, like that whole line of Benicio del Toro when he says when he's get called by the police and he says he's had a few small beers. I just feel like every person in the world was just like, oh, I get that guy in that moment. But like, I mean, where do you go with that film about opening a 1-hour discussion? It is a treasure trove of hilarious moments, tension, amazing Western, old school filmmaking that kind of reminded me a little bit of like Thelma and Louise, Ridley Scott period of time. But like, It's so good, and I can't wait to watch it again. But like, it's one of those real meaty movies where you're just like, I want to watch this again. I'm really excited to watch it, but I know it's gonna like take a bit of me to do it again because it's such a ride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd be so surprised if this movie is not on your list.
Yeah, I almost don't want to say too much about it because it just comes a little bit later. So
Yeah.
maybe we can jump back in a second.
Okay.
Shall I say my number 3?
Please.
Yeah. So my number 3 film is 28 Years Later.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the return of Danny Boyle to the 28 Years or 28 Days franchise, which he set up in the early 2000s.
Yeah, 2002, I think.
Yeah, which was like really set the kind of like standard for like what a zombie movie could be in the modern day, I think.
Well, it introduced the notion of like maybe they're not just like, you know, ghouls are gonna go like 2 miles an hour, but it's actually birthed out of an infection and something that feels more tangible and like present and can happen to us.
And we can be grimy, we can be gritty, we can be experimental with how we film this.
England's a great place to set a movie like this too.
But also like these films also have a lot of heart and emotion attached to them as well.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you come back nearly 20 years later to do 28 Years Later. And you think like, what else can Danny Boyle bring to the zombie franchise? Like he's inspired a lot of what we see and what there's been a lot of in this kind of zombie renaissance of like Walking Dead and all these kind of films.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was able to bring back the same kind of like experimental boots on the ground flair for this new film.
Yeah.
That felt different enough from 28 Days Later that it was kind of like but it's still in the same vein, but still being experimental, still being interesting, and like shining a light on future Britain by looking at Britain that's stuck in the past and masculinity and how that's all kind of, and culture and how that's all kind of weaves in together. So I wasn't expecting this much like pathos in a 28 Years Later film. And it just took me by surprise. And another thing that surprised me, I guess this film was just full of surprises. But like out of there are 2 films on this list that made me cry. And this was one of them. And like, I wasn't expecting that from a zombie film this year.
Oh, man, that's so good. That's so good to hear. This is my number 2. So
brilliant. Let's keep talking. Let's keep talking about 28 Years Later then.
Yeah, I think only Danny Boyle could return to this.
Yeah.
I think if anybody, I think the zombie subgenre has sagged in the years because we had such an overabundance from the late 2000s and early 2010s.
Yep.
I was really worried that whenever this film came out, it was high stakes for me and that we would adhere to conventions. And I should have known that Danny Boyle is somebody who always likes to push the boat out and will only attach himself to something if it really does intrigue him.
Yep.
And I was so, oh my goodness, I was so surprised from the beginning of this movie that it's such a weird movie. In every choice is experimental and not going with what I think, you know, the people who turn up for blood and guts are here to see. But I am going to go for the thing that I think why people are such a fans of the original movie, and I think it's its heart.
Yeah.
And I think this movie does have such a thumping heart to it as well, but it also really teases and opens the world out into the bizarreness of like what happens in a dystopia. Do people revert back to medieval times?
Yeah.
People are back to the bow and arrow. We have, you know, in the village hall where we're safe and the zombies can't get to us on a small little island, we have pictures of monarchy. We have pictures of things that we as a nation can like latch onto, and we almost emotionally devolve. We go back into a time period where we're sort of semi-savage, but we're collective, and we look after our own. Yeah. Which is very like speaks to our times, especially if we live in the UK.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's rubbed up people a lot the wrong way. But this film is so emotionally, like, it creeps up on you. And there's some moments that come later on with Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, that kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack's really interesting too. Like Jon Favre's did this soundtrack, which is all like original soundtrack of which is an album of a movie. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm thinking, you know, I think about the score a lot when I think about this movie, and even when I'm not thinking about this movie, like songs come into my head. I've been scared to return to it because it feels very tender, like you said. It feels very, even though it's a broad subject like zombies in a post-apocalyptic world, and it has humorous moments.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes you just like, it's a very open wound of a film that I feel like everybody, if they let themselves kind of like open to it, that they might get wounded by it a little bit. And I can't wait to return to that franchise in a few weeks. Yeah. And then potentially a third one capped off with Danny Boyle. It's great because 28 Weeks Later, I loved as a kid. Have you seen 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah.
It's fine.
I had to see them all in the lead up.
Did you? You can leave. You can, if you want to do your homework, and you haven't seen 28 Years Later. Like you can leave out 28 Weeks Later.
No.
It's fun. But it's an action movie.
Yes, it's very different. It's very different,
and
it's of its time. Each film is of its time.
Yeah. Well, I guess like if you're somebody who your favorite 28 film coming up to 28 Years Later is your favorite film is 28 Days Later, I think you will enjoy this a lot. If your favorite film is 28 Weeks Later of the two,
who are you?
I don't think you'll like this.
Who are you?
Yeah. But I think those people exist.
Do you think?
I think they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because people just like the guts and gore.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner from Renovations.
He's good in that.
He's got a following. He's got a following.
Yeah.
Renovations.
But yeah, I love 28 Years Later, and it's like it was really almost my number one because there's just something really like provocative about it. And I love films that that have me days later just kind of like thinking about them and mulling them over and recollecting scenes in my head, and that was the prime example of a movie this year that did it for me.
It's great. That's great to hear. And our 3 and 2s are kind of like switched around a bit because my number 2 is One Battle After Another, which I absolutely adored. And it's kind of, so I appreciate we're kind of like flip-flopping in like these films at the moment. So like for me, One Battle After Another is exactly what I want from a big blockbuster film, and then 28 Years Later is like exactly what I want from like a specific medium genre piece film, but both breaking the mold in terms of how they're being shot, how they're being acted, how the structure works. And for me, so if I think solely now about One Battle After Another, it's just like this giant film that is quite linear in a sense, but it's just got so much momentum, so much action, so much flavor to it. And I just absolutely adored everything going.
So many scenes that you think about, so many like scenes I feel like will go in the canon of like classic, this is going to be classic cinema someday. Yeah.
It feels old school in the sense of like when you're watching it for the first time, you feel like you're watching a classic in the making. You're like, oh, this feels like the films that I grew up on that my parents were like, you have to see this, you have to watch that. Like these are the big ones. And they're very cinematic and they're very epic. But like the stakes are like small within this world, but
outside of these people, nobody in the world knows that this is going on.
It feels so massive, and so many great performances in it, so much great action, and like you said, Sean Penn as the villain is just like absolutely fantastic. It's dealing with stuff that's happening in like the modern day. It's talking about immigration, it's talking about revolution, it's talking about race, everything.
But their problems have always always occurred.
Exactly. It feels timeless, but also modern.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It feels like, wow, it was filmed on VistaVision. It feels like a film from the 70s. But like, yeah, just everything about it. So, yeah, I feel like between us, we can wax lyrical a lot about One Battle After Another. But it's interesting that neither one of us have put it in our number one, whereas it easily could have been, I think.
There's a couple of films on this list in general that kind of fall into that category of like, I need to like, I'm almost self-preserving myself from like protecting myself from saying it's my favorite film because it might be one day. But some of these meteor projects, they need more time to kind of like develop, and you'll uncover more things about One Battle After Another. We'll discover more things about these movies later on. Like Marty Supreme, I think, is another example of a film that I need to watch a couple more times to really feel like I'm so on its wavelength.
But that's like I think the films we've spoken about today are like the films where it's kind of like when like all of these films are fantastic. So when we saw these, it was like cinema was peaking. And that's where it's like the year has been a bit bumpy. Like for every One Battle After Another, there was something rubbish, which I can't think about right now. Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh,
War of the Worlds. with Ice Cube.
Captain America: Brave New World, I actually felt like it was the cinematic equivalent of going to like Sunday service to me. like a chore. Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Plenty of those. But we're not doing top 10.
Do you disagree?
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, I know what you mean. But we're not. I came into saying we don't do top 10 worst. And then I'm immediately just shout onto you.
If we did, you know what would be on it. Yeah,
Couldn't help myself. God damn it. Well, I feel like we should throw one more under the bus while we're here.
Go on.
Electric State. All right.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
All right. We don't do that.
Okay.
Number one films. Should we ask our producers what their number one films of the year are before we jump in?
Yeah, there's 20 other people out, I know, but we have to just ask them.
Yeah, producer Lauren, producer Emma.
Producer Emma, do you want to go first? Okay, I think it's a toss-up between Bring Her Back and Weapons.
Oh, the horror girly.
Yeah, I like Weapons. I'm a teacher, so I've got that kind of in my mindset of like, oh my god, what if that happened to me?
Yeah.
But also Bring Her Back was just so good, and the ending of that really wrapped up nicely. And
What would you be most excited to like rewatch out of the two of them?
that's interesting. Probably Weapons.
There's more to uncover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producer Lauren.
Sinners.
100%.
Strong Sinners.
Ooh.
And it's really hard for me to get emotional at films, but I got emotional at that one.
Hard to get you going to the cinema twice.
Yeah.
To see the same movie. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I
Yeah.
need to watch that one again.
Okay. Well,
Number one. Our number one.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, producers. Thank you.
I'm going to echo producer Lauren by saying that Sinners is my favorite film of the year.
There you go.
I also saw it twice in the cinema, and it was the surprise element was a big factor. I said about a couple of movies this year that are ones I have to revisit. I don't have to revisit Sinners to know that I love it. I had a really great time. I love music. I love Deep South music. I love old blues. That has me at a bias here already going into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I was really surprised at was the first 40 minutes of this movie was not a zombie movie. Or, a vampire movie.
Getting your films mixed up.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's like, it was 28 years, you're number two, right?
Yeah, so I got it.
Johnny more specific films this year.
Yeah. And this is
good.
I'm like, you know what? I could try to fight it. I could try to throw something in here that makes me try to sound more credentialized, but I'm not. I really love this movie a lot. And the first 40 minutes, it puts in so much work to set up the characters in a way that I really cared about them for the whole story. And then you mix in some sort of, it's almost like a semi-musical at times. And you know this guy likes musicals.
He does.
Great performances. Jack O'Connell steals the show. It makes me so excited to see him in the new 28 Years Later movie. And it turns, and I love From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's wearing its influences. It's Robert Rodriguez references on its sleeve very, very overtly. But then again, it's a muscular film that is tight, well constructed, understands its characters and its motivations, but has a soul, and it has moments like that midsection, like the ancestor moment, like the ending. I don't usually like post-credit scenes, but it has a post-credit scene that made me like, oh my god, I didn't know I needed this. Yeah. And it's like, you could have ended this movie 10 minutes ago and I would have been like, yeah, I really liked this movie a lot. And then you gave me something I didn't know I needed. I needed all right, you wanted to make me cry. Yeah. And I don't understand why I'm crying. But it's cool filmmaking as well. So there's a lot of different filmmakers in here, but it's exciting to see somebody come off of a Marvel franchise.
Yeah, out of the Marvel machine.
Exactly, and be like, no, I still got it. I can do this by myself here. I don't need to rely on a previous product or a franchise. And like, it's so rewatchable. I think it's the most rewatchable film on the list. Yeah. I feel like, next Halloween, can't wait to stick it on. Probably before that.
I definitely know I need to see it again.
Yeah, and I was listening to this, when you like a movie when you end up listening to the soundtrack for a few weeks afterwards, right? That's how you know it worked. I want to revisit it more and more.
Early in this morning.
Oh man, don't. I love the seance. You know the seance song?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Very good.
Some great moments, and then some Irish jigs in there too. I'm Irish, so
Yeah.
you know.
You do the Irish jig.
No,
Okay.
because no one wants to see it, and I'll hate myself forever. No, I love it. It's so fun. It's popcorn entertainment. It's a great bridge of cinephiles meet broader audiences to make
Yeah.
a really like a crowd pleaser that like I'm glad that everybody's seeing. I'm just glad that everybody's enjoying it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like the Top Gun Maverick thing. I think that was like up there for 1 year for me on the top 10 list. Where I'm just like, you know what? Like, yeah, this is great stuff, and like I like popcorn. When popcorn movies are good, they're good.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of got into movies in the first place.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, I love it.
Definitely.
Alex, number one,
Number one. All right, my
the
number
big one.
film. Okay. I think some people might have seen this one coming. But for me, my number one film of the year is Hamnet, and I do apologize because UK releases in like a few days. All right, so I do apologize that nobody else has been able to see it.
You need to get out of your system.
But I was blown
Yeah.
away by this film. Like I had a very strong emotional reaction to this film, and I have been a big fan of Chloe Zhao for a while now. I feel like her films have come up on my top tens every time she's made a film. Like I think she's not made a bad film yet, and yeah, this one like carries on her streak of humanism, of her like truly understanding human nature, of wanting to take you on a journey of like the full spectrum of human nature and the human journey. And it's quite interesting that like she's turned to Shakespeare in a way, even though it's historical fiction. Shakespeare is a character in it, but like it's not all about him. It's about his child, his wife, more than anything, played by Jessie Buckley, and how that story, that relationship inspired Hamnet, because his son was called Hamnet. And they're interchangeable, apparently. It tells you at the start of the film. But this film is like, as much as that sounds interesting, and I'm not like a massive Shakespeare fan, so like that wasn't like the draw.
That would intrigued me, because I knew you loved this movie, and you're always been like, Shakespeare, I get it, but
Yeah.
I'm not in love with it.
I did it in school. So
Yeah.
it's a bit much.
Well, these words.
Too many words. But like for me, it was more about, through this story, I'm going to show you the highs and the lows of the human journey on Earth. You know, love and laughter and lust, and then put like the lows of like grief and trauma and disaster, but also in the same way that sentimental value shows you how like the medium of art can be healing. This does a very similar thing, and it kind of climaxes in this incredibly beautiful way, which obviously I can't talk about, but when you see it, you'll know that like it's this all encapsulating thing of like, oh wow, this is why we go to the movies. This is why we as a human race interact with art. And yeah, I was just, like I said, like absolutely like emotionally moved by it. It's a tearjerker of a film.
Yeah.
It wants to make you cry. There's an element of that. I know some people have been a little bit like sour on the fact that it's like emotionally manipulative, and like when you're playing with those themes, of course it can be. But like I don't think it's manipulative. I think it's just trying to be like, come on board, let yourself go, and by the end you will feel somewhat healed at the same time. So like, yeah, I cried a lot. I teared up a little bit when we saw the trailer before Mighty Supreme yesterday, but that was because I didn't really watch the trailers before going into this film. And then I'm like, oh yeah, these trailers do encapsulate the whole film in a beautiful way that just kind of reminded me of my whole experience with it. So I can't wait to watch it again as well. Like, I think I will try and see it in a couple of weeks when it hits UK cinemas. So I want the big screen experience of it again. And just kind of, I don't know if it will work as well on a second time, but that first time, it will not leave me, that's for sure.
I'm excited to catch up with it. You've talked a big game. I love Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley and Chloe Zhao. I think The Rider is like one of my favorite movies of the 2010.
Yeah. I even love The Eternals. I think it carries on her streak. It carries on her streak. Her themes that she likes to play throughout all her films. And they're present in Eternals. They're just on a grander scale.
Well, okay. And then Hamnet, we're shrinking back down again.
Well, we're shrinking back down. This is where I think this might be my favorite Chloe Zhao film.
That's a big talk. But like, is the Shakespeare of it all? Is that like a really big part of it for you, or is it just a vessel to tell a human story? Is a person going in who doesn't go to the movies much but loves Shakespeare? Are they going to get much out of this, or is this more for somebody like yourself who isn't a Shakespeare fan as much, and likes movies more? Yeah,
yeah. I think you will get a lot out of it, and there are a few moments in it that like, and these are like the lesser moments where I think it does kind of like go, oh, that's where that line came from, in a way that like a prequel might do.
yeah.
For
something that was from the 1600s.
Yeah, I feel like that could rub some people up the wrong way potentially. But I disregard those moments because the whole thing was just like this. It was just an experience at the end.
And I think when you know Chloe Zhao, you know she's somebody who is deeply like a soulful person.
Yes.
Who really does want to get at the crux of like of human interactivity and like what makes people.
And produced by Spielberg as well. Like it was this, like there's a lot of people who have a lot of heart coming together to like tell this story.
Yeah. I mean, like I've only seen the trailer, and the trailer the first time made me like single tear. So I feel like I'm probably going to
bring tissues, Chris. Bring tissues.
Okay, I'm gonna have to revise the list later on, but no, it's been really interesting catching up with you today. I feel like sentimental value, like having a couple of things that I just haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
Not
like Dead Diamond tonight.
Yeah,
tonight.
Yeah, so like lists are interchangeable all the time. But who knows? I might even like watch a film in 2035 from 2025, and then I'll be like, my list. All of these films will be void.
How did I miss that?
No, but there's been it's been really cool to have. I think what's been common for me. I'll let you speak on your list in a second. But the commonality for me has been. It's been sandwiched by horror, hasn't it? And it's been a really good year for horror for me.
100%.
And I think there has been a little bit of staleness. I'm not somebody who's like, oh, it's a horror movie equals I love it.
Yeah.
It actually takes a lot for me to be kind of on board with these sort of films because I feel like it has been an oversaturated market.
Yeah.
Where we have got a lot of okay horror movies lately. And it's really cool to know that even I can still be impressed by, I don't get scared by horror movies anymore. But I enjoy the way they're made, and I enjoy when they make me go, oh, that's crazy. And bring her
just get under your skin a little bit, where it's like,
yeah, just keep me not knowing where you're gonna go. Give me a crazy performance. Give me some. I do like those sort of what was the film with Margaret Qualley last year?
Oh, The Substance.
The Substance.
Yeah.
Like films that are just like, oh my goodness, like you went there. That's so nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really cool year for horror for me, and for different flavors.
Yeah. 100%. I agree, and I think there was, yes, I kind of want to have a look, but it was kind of like experiences mixed with like films that brought emotion to you, and then also I think especially within my top 5, it was that kind of like art as a medium of healing, which I've obviously said a lot of times already, but that became a theme throughout as well. So yeah, it was what gets under my skin, but also what is just like a good experience in the cinema.
Yeah,
and like that has been great. So I've loved being able to, like I said, like 9 out of 10 films in the cinema this year, and I love that. Brilliant. So yeah, I loved it. Should we quickly recap our 5 to 1?
Let's do it.
So because we recapped the other one, so we should do it. So my number 5 was Sinners. My number 4 was Sentimental Value. My number 3, 28 Years Later. My number 2, One Battle After Another. My number 1, Hamnet.
Very good. And my number 5 was Avatar: Fire and Ash. My number 4 was Blue Heron. Number
2 very different films.
I know. No, that's the thing.
No.
We ain't one trick ponies on this podcast.
Nobody else has paired this together before. It's never been said.
I actually know what I would bet £1,000, Great British pounds, that those 2 films have not been mentioned in the same sentence on any other platform in any other show. So I'll take it.
We love to do that.
One Battle After Another is my number 3. 28 Years Later, number 2, and number 1 is Sinners.
Nice.
So, yeah, similar. I think we're similar in what made us tick in 2025, but reordered and maybe a couple of additions from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're in 2026 now.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we might not be whilst we're recording this, but we will be when this comes out. But yeah, like there's a lot of films to catch up on to kind of cap off 2025 is a cinematic year. It's a lot to look forward to in 2026.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to more episodes of the Film Angle with you, Chris.
Should we hug it out?
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it on the Film Angle. We'll be back soon, I'm sure. We've got some great stuff lined up, and I'm excited to see what the year ahead brings for us as we evolve the Film Angle. Thank you to everybody who's been following us through 2025, and thank you to anybody who's going to continue following us through 2026. We're very excited for everything that's to come. Yes, we're all excited. We're all excited. So with that, I think that's our episode, our review of the year. Thank you everybody for listening. We're on Instagram, TikTok at The Film Angle. You can go follow us there. And, we would love it if you enjoyed this episode. If you've enjoyed the series at all, if you can give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple, you can review us there.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Or subscribe. We're on YouTube now as well. Obviously, this is a video home show, but we're trying not to make it too bad for those who are also listening on audio. It's a podcast first and foremost. So yeah, please like and subscribe where you can. We really appreciate it. And Happy New Year.
Very well said. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.